Welcome back to another Mask of Momentum video, and today we're doing another tier list. This one is the world's tier list here. We're accompanied by Eric again from SNEEP Media.
There you go.
Two-time
I like that.
top 8 calling competitor. How are you doing today, Eric?
I'm chilling. I'm doing good. I guess we didn't upset too many people to do another one, so we're doing good.
Definitely did upset some people, but we're back here again. So this one's really interesting. So today actually the article came out about what will be legal for Worlds and what is now legal. So it was official. Obviously, Lexi did LL, but something that was quite important is Icelander did not make the 1,000-point threshold. She's at, I think, 939 or something. So she's right there. Basically, could be like the last season that we see here, like ever. So it's going to be pretty interesting. And Bullseye Bracers that was suspended because of Lexi is unbanned. So Azelia can use that. So we'll see how it goes. And Riptide. Okay. So let's get into it. We'll start off just from the bottom here. It's a little alphabetical, but we got Arachne. Do we want to talk about Arachne?
You know what? I actually like Arachne here.
You like Arachne?
I do, because all these Dromais are playing the Crown of Dominion, and they're all getting greedy, and Arachne has the silver bullet to beat that deck. True.
You do have the silver bullet, but I know Assassin has struggled a lot into Dromai, so I think he's probably like the best out of like the bad characters, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah, like out of like the ones that I would, if you brought to Worlds, I'd be like, bro, what are you doing? You know, I think he's the best out of all.
They're cooking. That's what they're doing.
I think he's like here. Yeah, I mean, like straight up, like I'll eat my words any day, but like that, you'd be really cooking if you were playing that today. So
yeah, I want him to be higher, but Arachne, that's exactly where they belong, right there.
It just feels like he's missing some like key cards to like, or like power cards to really get him going, and it's just like. You also have a Zeri in the meta, which is just like, okay, well, that character is so much better than this character, so what can you
Not against Dromai. Zeri doesn't get that silver bullet.
That's true.
But Zeri did just win, though, so.
All right, we're looking at Azelia next here.
This is interesting. Azelia. I mean, I wonder about Azelia, because she did get a little bump with the Bullseye Bracers getting back. That's definitely going right over the Bracers of Beliefs. But like one of her best matchups, just Living Legend. So, I guess like, I don't know, how is she doing the Dash IO? I think that's kind of the question here.
Yeah. I think Azelia is pretty interesting, right? Because like the one thing Azelia never wants to do is block, right? Because once you start blocking with Azelia, you just kind of die really quickly.
That's pretty true.
So it is pretty interesting, right? And I know a lot of people are talking about how like the Dromai matchup is like pretty interesting to rough to there, but I do think there's a lot of good matchups in the meta for it. Where you got Icelander, it's getting AB2 naturally back, so Icelander is pretty good again. And then all these like usually I would say Azelia is pretty good against the other aggro decks, because when Azelia gets to play Red in the Ledger and actually has like a text box, that's like really the matchup she wants to shine in. But I think like I would still put her in like basically this A tier here, to where like if I saw her in top 8 of Worlds, I wouldn't be like too surprised, but I'd be very surprised if there was more than one copy. I'm probably putting her at like a 1 to 0 copies in the top 8.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, that's what I would put here.
I'm looking at the end product of our last video, and last time we had her at B, and her getting bumped up to A seems right.
Yeah, I think she's probably on the end of this A tier, but I do think I would argue that she's pretty much here because of some characters down the line that will be bumped up a little bit. So,
yep.
Next one we got is Bravo. So I'm a iconic Bravo hater, so I'm gonna put him in B tier. But what do you think he ends up in this meta here?
Man, I don't know. Okay, let's just say it. Let's just get it out of the way. The elephant in the room here. I think we gotta skip to it, because like I think Dash IO is the biggest question for where all these other heroes sit. I know everyone's super hyped on her, including myself, but like, boy, like you better be able to deal with Dash IO, Dromai, and probably Icelander. And Bravo struggles into at least one of those, if not two or three even.
Yeah. The problem I see with Bravo, right, is that like you have a bad Icelander matchup. You like your Dromai matchup. If you're playing the specialist on Dromai, you're not winning that matchup because they have like 4 different win cons and like the tome build. Like I've heard it's just like actually super favored into Bravo. I know Nick Butcher was talking about how like he thought Bravo was just like an obvious choice to play, but I'm not like, I just don't believe in how Bravo like is beating these like Dromais and like especially these Icelanders in this meta. And I know that the guy that went on his like his historic like 14-0 into losing the finals run with Dash IO beat like multiple Bravos during his event. So that I mean, obviously it was the first time that anybody saw like how Dash was like actually supposed to be played, but it still doesn't give me confidence of like, I mean, Bravo, I know people are gonna play it, but I'd probably put it here because if I saw one copy in top 8, I'd be like, yeah, people play that deck. But like, I wouldn't, if there was multiple, I'd be also very surprised. But I'd be less surprised if Azelia had multiple copies than Bravo.
I'd agree with that. He hasn't seen top 8 in like a big event in actually a good while, unfortunately. Yeah. And I actually do. I would sooner play Azelia into this world's meta than Bravo, so I'm with you there.
Agreed. Then we got one of the OGs, we got OG Dash here. So what I'll say about OG Dash is I actually think like she was probably going to be the most consistent out of the mechanologists that came from the set. I thought she was going to have like the highest potential not the highest potential, but the highest ceiling. Highest base floor of all of them, because she's like a deck that usually peeks its head in multiple times in like certain metas and is like also pretty good. And I also still think she has a pretty good aggro build that can also become a mid-range or even a fatigue deck if some people want to bring it. And I do think like this deck specifically it does deserve this A-tier spot. I wouldn't be surprised if I did see some in top 8, but I don't think it is like one of the front runners of this set.
Yeah, I'm with you. I actually think she could be. I actually think she might eventually make it to like part of the big 3. I don't think she's there yet, and I think it'll take some like fine tuning, but. If someone's going to do it, like Merritt Kemp, Sam Dando, I could see one of them like, having great success with Dash.
Yeah, the one thing I'll say about Dash that I feel like Dash and Dash IO basically have the same thing into Dromai, but because Dash IO can have these such like explosive, huge turns that OG Dash can't have, like Dash IO gets to have these insane combo turns, but the normal Dash just have to play a regular game plan. And I feel like the regular game plan into Dromai specifically, it sometimes lacks a lot of what you need to be doing in that matchup, and you can get overrun by a lot of the dragons, versus like if you just go over the top, it's quite different. So I'd probably put her here just because I think the Dromai matchup is just a little less good.
Yeah, I think the old Dash has more consistency, or more ease of consistency over the new Dash. But like, yeah, you're absolutely right. The new Dash has the explosiveness right now.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. All right, next thing we're looking is Dorinthea. So something about Dorinthea is that we saw at the end of last season is that new U.S. Nationals, it was playing like the more fatigue Dorinthea style. I saw a lot of decks that were playing like all 3 Dory weapons and was like really trying to get in there, and it was like a pretty interesting build. But I think that matchup was also trying to snipe Lexi specifically in the meta now that she's gone. I do think she's certainly good against a lot of these like aggro styles, but obviously she has like a negative earn rate versus Icelander specifically, which is one of the most played characters, I believe. So and
Dromai, she doesn't do well in Dromai either.
I heard the Dromai Dory matchup is like pretty interesting and like very fatiguey, which is like weird to think about. But I'd probably put her like behind Bravo and B tier here. If there is like a build that can really like snipe the meta, maybe it goes pretty well, but not too confident on it.
I'm with you 100% right there.
And then I'll let you talk about the next one, Prism. Here, what are you thinking about?
The
this
hardest
Prism?
one.
What are you talking about this little Prism here? I know you always got these spicy takes on Prism, so I want to hear it from you.
A guy we both know, Austin Somers, he got fourth with Prism at his
He did get top
PQ.
4 in a PQ.
So that's pretty impressive. Especially look at his list. It's like it's kind of spicy, but then like what isn't spicy at this point if you're playing Prism? So I put more trust right now, at least from myself, in Arachne than Prism. Someone's gonna have to break it for me. Like someone's gonna have to do like what Dash did last weekend for me to believe in Prism. So
yep, and I'll put it there, as everybody knows. It's, yeah, and then so actually a character that I never thought would win an event
it did
last weekend, and I'm just saying that local scene has to be trash. JK. Congrats to that guy, but
I think it was Vincent Mir, wasn't it, in the finals? I think that's what
I thought it was just him in top 8, I believe.
Oh, okay.
But,
regardless.
We're looking at Vincent. I mean, dude, every time I look at this character, I'm just sad that it's not Chain, and it's just like nowhere close. But I
trust Prism more than him.
I do trust Prism more than
her.
Vincent. Yeah, so I just don't think it, like, I mean, your drawing matchup's atrocious. Like, and you struggle because you're banishing a card from your hand all the time. Like, you get outraced by these aggro decks, and you have to block a decent amount, and eventually just kind of lose the matchup too much. And then, like, I don't know. I'm not too confident with Vincent.
I'm sure Vincent can spike some matchups. I just don't know what.
I don't know why people. I don't know what you're trying to snipe with this character currently. It needs too many cards. All right, then we're looking at Fi. My old baby tour, I thought Fire was really good. Something that I heard a lot of people saying is that the ninjas would come back because if after Lexi gone, and like Dromai would be the best deck in the format. And then Dromai got Red Toe. And let me tell you something. If any person that is trying to play 5 for Worlds is trying to tell you that it is favored for ninjas into Dromai currently into Worlds, they're just coping. They're just hard coping, and if it's like a 50-50 at best, bro. Like after testing like Fi and Katsu, like Fi got belittle banned from it, and now it's like it's consistent, but like the mana resources make it have like less good turns. And then Katsu is just kind of an inconsistent pile at this point. Like sometimes I play Katsu and I'm like, yo, this deck has legs, and sometimes I play Katsu and I'm like, I played 4 hands straight that doesn't have go again, and you're just like, well. It's just pretty interesting. I'd probably put Fi like in this B tier here,
rough,
which is rough, but it's kind of like where he's kind of deserving of the spot at this point, because like your matchup versus this is not that good. You're getting outraced by this. You're getting outraced by this, and then this is not even a good matchup anymore. It's like you're trying to find like, and then this isn't a good matchup for Fi anymore because you don't have little. It's like what you're trying to find. You see a lot of like 45-48% here, and I'm like, I'm trying to find the good matchup here, and I don't see it. So
you know what, I'm gonna stick up for him, only like very little though. Put him yeah.
Oh yeah, all right. And then because I touched on Katsu, I would also put him I'd put him better than Fi currently. I do think he's better into the other matchups. I think he's worse against Dromai, but I think he's better into like the dashes. I think
he might be able to destroy Dash IO. I think because she doesn't block too much. He gets out. I mean, he's just as explosive. I don't know. Like I wouldn't put him S tier.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I kind of like him on the tail end of A tier. That's where I'm at with him. I don't know. I feel like he can get him there. Oh, I would. I don't know. Really? As a Guardian, like. Guy, I don't know. I'm not even a Guardian guy anymore. I don't know what I am. I'm a wizard. Yeah, I used to be. I don't know. Like, Bravo just isn't exciting me right now. I'm sure this new set will get me back on him. Starstruck is obviously a great card, but like when it comes to like explosiveness, he's just lacking, I think. And Lexi's gone, so it's that's where he had some success.
Yeah.
Katsu has explosiveness. And I could see, him just cheesing and like like Azalea's a tough one for sure, but I could see like him just like getting the right cards and whatnot.
Yeah, I feel
So,
like the Katsu matchup versus OG Dash is like OG Dash favored, but this one is like volatile, right? Because obviously we don't have like a lot of data on this deck to like
We don't,
what
yeah,
the other
yeah.
matchups is, but like. Dude, sometimes you're seeing some of those turns, you're like, okay, well, when you're playing aggro versus aggro, and he got double boom grenade out, and he's like, bro, you better block me, you know? Like, I don't know. That's like...
Yeah, but then you
start
dishonor her, and then she can't do that no more.
Yeah, I mean, true. After
That's
seeing
like
some
the
of
best
those,
case.
yeah. After seeing some of those high octane tome terms, I was like, oh boy,
Yeah,
this is pretty good. Then we get to Icelander. Icelander, I still think it's one of the front runners of this format, right?
I do too. She's back, baby.
I do think I don't think she ever left, but
I don't know. Lexi kind of was harsh.
Yeah, Lexi was harsh, but I felt like every other deck in the game you were just like kind of chilling against. So
yeah.
Something like obviously like me and Majin love this character. I think it's really good.
My favorite as well.
I think the Dromai matchup is a lot better than what people think. I actually think it's Icelander favorite currently because they're playing the red build. I did play against a dash.
2 blues.
Yeah, I think, well, because they play this 3 item blue, and then sometimes they play like 5. Sometimes they play 5 blues, but usually it's like 3, and then they play like 1 Oasis, 1 Sand cover. So, yeah. So it's like, dude, you're just if the spells line up where you can draw the arcane spells, put in the arsenal, they swing like a 1 to 2 health dragon, you kill it, you waiting moon them, you chip them down, you send an attack at them, and you just kind of repeat the process. Eventually they just die. So I do think Icelander is quite good. Something with Icelander is the mechs are really hard. It's like, I don't think it's unfavored, but they're like very close 50-50s in the game. I played against a Dash IO and an OG Dash, and both of them are just like at our ProQuest last weekend. And dude, those games are like you're thinking the entire time. Like they're not free. They're hard from both sides, right? Like like mech has a lot of blues, so it's hard to disrupt them with like a single frostbite. You're taking a lot of damage. You're trying to keep these like 3 card plus hands, but obviously channel like Frigid is quite good against a deck that is trying to be explosive and go wide. So I think this matchup's really close, and I can't wait to test it for the next 2 weeks. But I'd put Icelander 100% right here.
Yeah, I'm with you. I like her. I mean, yeah, I don't think it matters where she is, like in the S tier, she is S tier. Yeah, as you mentioned with the Dash, I think I'm more scared of original Dash and Dash IO because like we kind of know what Dash IO is trying to do, but there's so many different variations of that original Dash. If they pop over a Hanabi Blaster or a Plasma Pistol and you don't know if it's Tree Fog, whatever, right? So it's like that's a big unknown. But like looking at all the other players, I mean, like I don't see a matchup that I'm afraid of if I'm playing Icelander right now.
No, it's like you're good. You're like pretty good into this. This is going to be like, these are hard, but you know what you're going to face against this. This is like pretty even. Azelia,
I guess I'm scared of Prism.
Okay, yeah, I'm scared of Prism too. But like, I'd be scared of like a little bit of Azelia because they're getting AB2 back, and that's like historically a bad matchup for you. But I'm not like too concerned. Katsu is like pretty good for you. This is really good for you. This is really good for you. And like, I mean, you just looking at all these decks, like who cares, right? Yeah. So. Yeah, I think Icelander's in a pretty good spot. Like you're like even at worst versus like 90% of the metagame. Like that's a good place to be.
She's my pick. I'm gonna pick her to win Worlds, and I'm gonna be sad because I won't be able to play her the next Monday.
True. All right. Next one we got is like another iconic wizard here in Kano. I actually think Kano is like uniquely positioned currently. Do I think a lot of people are gonna play Kano at Worlds? No, but I'm gonna put him in A tier. I think this, if you're really trying to pick something that is like out of the ordinary to like try to snipe the meta, I think Kano right now is that character to where you can get there for it, right? The Dromai Kano, I think, dude, I see so many people say that like Dromai is like good into Kano, and I don't understand what they're playing against, right? It's like the Dromai's playing 3 blues, bro. Like they die on turn 1, they die on turn 2. Like if you just draw the Wildfire combo, like there's so many times where I've been turn 0, shot for 4 with a sonic boom, hit another spell. They start the game at like 35. I Arsenal Aether Wildfire and I draw Blazing and they just die on turn 1 is like an incredible amount of times. Like they're just not going to stop it unless they draw like specifically 5 cards in their deck. So
I mean, I did see on screen for the calling a Kano v Dromai, and that Dromai player definitely played Dominia and just controlled the game from there. So
yeah,
I think it goes both ways.
It goes both ways, right? Like you can, if they play that thing. I didn't think he played particularly well that game, and I remember he tweeted after that he didn't play particularly well that game either.
He should have went off on that turn, just at least put Dromai down.
Well, yeah, you had to like, instead of just taking that card for free, like you should have responded and like try to do something, because you have a lot of outs in that situation that he didn't go for, which is you know what it is. But no, I just think like, Kano, like, surely this, like, the mechs are usually pretty bad, but like this starts at 36. You need to spell like 1 or 2 spells. She's in range to get wildfire comboed. Like, she's all in you every single turn. She's only playing like 18 blues. Like you can get in there really quickly. This is like a pure skill match. Some Icelanders say this is Icelander's worst matchup, but realistically, it should be Icelander's best matchup unless you're playing against somebody with the secret tech.
I guess if you're not running Hood and you don't run too many E-pods, yeah, I could see that being a bad matchup.
I don't understand. I don't know. This should be your good matchup, but like Kano is like really interesting in this matchup because you can win it very easily if the Kano knows how to play it very well.
You just got to pitch stack with them.
Yeah. But this is pretty even. I would say it's a little Kano.
Oh, no. I disagree. I think that is heavily Kano favored. I was practicing a lot with Azelia for calling Dallas, and boy, do Kano players love to be on Talishar.
Yeah, Kano and Talishar is iconic, bro.
Yeah, and I think I've lost, like, I don't know, I think I played 4 of them, or I lost 4 and I won 1, so I played 5 total. So it didn't feel good at all. I did what I could, but it wasn't enough.
Yeah, you do get AB2 back.
That's true. That is a good point.
And then, like, bro, Kano versus every one of these characters is such Kano favorite. It's insane. Except for Prism, but, like, Prism doesn't exist. So it's
even Fi?
Yeah. Because if Fi plays AB1 or AB0, and Kano, it's like the pure, like, does Fi kill you on turn 2? No, Kano wins. Basically the whole equation, right?
You know what's interesting? Before we move on, I just want to put out, the classic saying that Kano is really good in an established meta, and yet we have him here at A, and this is a very new meta, so it's very interesting.
It's a very new meta, but I thought Kano was a lot better in the last meta than a lot of people give him credit for, and it just continues to be where Dromai is not playing enough blues to care, and you're powering through, and he needs to be justice here. But all right, Levia, we'll put her in C.
Whoa, no way, for real.
I'll put her here.
I like her, man. I really do. I don't know if she's like above B tier, but I think she's B tier, and here's why. It's like, I'm looking at those top 3, and Levia can beat any of those top 3 heroes.
You can't beat Icelander, bro. You can't beat Icelander, bro.
It can happen. Okay. The Icelander is the hardest for sure, 100%. But like,
also you have 0% of Kato because Kato doesn't attack you.
All right, look, I am not. Like you said, there's one Kano in the fucking world. Okay, I don't know. I think she's kind of well positioned right now. I think Lexi was the thing that was really putting her back, and she just could not race with it. But I think now that Lexi's gone, and we're getting heroes that are a little slower, or like slower in a different way, like Dash is slower just kind of in a different way. And so I think she can have some success now.
I'll put her ahead of Dory.
Okay, I'll take that.
That's the best I'm gonna give you.
That's fine. I got her out of the C tier.
You know why I put her here? It's because the other one is so much better.
See,
bro. The spicy.
Just the intimidate? Is that what it is?
Dude, it's the intimidate. It's whenever you don't think Rhinar could be good, it's good, bro. It's good against Dromai. It's good against Icelander. It has like good mech matchups. Like the only thing that Rhinar really struggles against is like go wide
Aggro.
like ninja aggro. And I think like the Dash IO is not that great of a matchup for it, but this is a good matchup for it. So you're hitting like 3 of the 4 best decks in the room, and it's just, I think this is like for like your spicy one of top 8. I think this is the spicy one of top 8 because if the Rhinar deck rolls correctly, it's going to beat the Dromais and it's going to beat the Icelanders. So, and if a lot of people are showing up with those Dromai and Icelanders, I think you would have a good time as Rhinar.
I think Hayden Dale said, I think it was Hayden Dale. Somebody said that Dromai can't beat Rhinar. It
is a very interesting matchup. I've played it a couple times, and I played it from both sides, and I do think it's Rhinar favored, but obviously Rhinar can have some hands, but if you don't have those hands as Rhinar, dude, it is hard to beat Rhinar as Dromai, because you're basically a better Bravo, because you can go wide, right? So because you had the Blood Rush turns, and Dromai takes like 12 to 15, and you just roll and keep going. So it's pretty good. It's good.
I'm just gonna say to us, Levia has those too.
Okay,
I'm just gonna put that out there.
Yeah, but like Olivia has pure damage. They can just block. This you cannot block this man.
I mean, he does have the Intimidate. I will give him that. It would be a dream of mine to see him, especially take fucking Worlds. That would be so cool.
That's true. I did just get rolled by it also last weekend in the top 4, so
happens.
I was playing Icelander and I was like, holy, what do I do? So
I've never beaten Tyler as Icelander when he was playing Rhinar.
Dude,
and it frustrates me every time because I feel like I get better as an Icelander player. I just still don't get him. It frustrates me. But
dude,
yeah.
It's crazy, bro. It's crazy. Riptide, let's just put him there. Obviously.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Yeah, bro. You get your arms
No,
back. But...
Vincent. I'm tired of Vincent getting love.
Okay. All right,
this one's interesting. Ew, I don't know. I am such a Bolton hater, and I used to be a Bolton guy.
I think Bolton's pretty interesting. Obviously, you're really bad into this, but something that a Bolton it depends on what kind of versions that you're gonna see play. I think the Raiden version is a lot better against Dromai than the combo version, but I do think a dedicated combo version can snipe some of these, specifically the mech matchups, because Bolton historically very good against mech because they only run attacks, so it's pretty good. And
there's less inertia tokens being out now.
There's less inertia tokens. There's less specifically Arsenal hate in the meta. Do I think it's good? Not really. But I do think it's better than some of these characters, so I'll put him right here. I don't think obviously I think Bravo's better than him. Honestly, the more I think about it, I'm putting Katsu back here. I think Bravo's better than Katsu. But I mean, I just put him in the middle of here just because.
I think Bolton means no. I don't know, but Bolton means no. They know something that I don't know, and so I'm gonna trust them. Since they have a presence right now, and I'll agree with where you put them at.
All right, next one is Zeri. I think I put Zeri.
Dude, I think she got the biggest L.
She and obviously losing literally an 80-20 matchup is terrible for you, but after watching some of that Zeri play, because it just did win the calling in Melbourne,
it did,
and
definitely.
I was pretty impressed by the play of the Zeri versus matchups where I thought it was not really good against. I saw its game versus Icelander. The Icelander didn't play particularly well when he was X1, but the Zeri was doing some lines that did make that matchup hard for Icelander, and eventually got it out at the end. And it did win against the Dromai in top 8.
It did,
which was super surprising to me as well.
Definitely.
But that guy was really playing it very uniquely and definitely had a dedicated plan for it, and I'm pretty impressed by it. Do I think losing its best matchup helps it at all? No. Also, I think you're not supposed to be good into this, you're not supposed to be good into this, but everything else maybe is around that 50%. Surely we saw it beat this in the finals, so this matchup was pretty interesting. And then OG Dash usually is good against other decks that are trying to go super long, so I think it's an interesting spot. I like to put it like it's definitely one of the best out of these B tiers, right? So, but this one's interesting to me. Do you have anything on this one as well, or?
I guess I wouldn't be surprised if I don't ever see her in the top 8 again, and I guess I wouldn't be surprised if I do. She does just feel like middle of the pack now. I don't think she ever like dominated at the presence, but like it really felt like she was a package with Lexi.
Yeah.
And I just don't know. I think it's because she had such a good Arsenal hate that I don't know if any other aggro deck she's going to be packaged with anymore. So I don't have much faith in her. But you know, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Okay. Viserai. Put him in the CT.
Yeah, just because we kind of like him.
Yeah, I mean, he's just like, dude, this character gets the audio stick every time.
The other way.
He's, oh man, dude. Yeah, I don't think this character could be good unless they like overhauled like the Runeblade class specifically, like from like what it is currently, or they give him Skeleton back, right? Like they're like, this character needs a new identity, a new weapon, or Skeleton like to do anything, and it's kind of disappointing to see because like this Dromai Viserai matchup is really good for Viserai, but there's no other good matchup in the game for him currently.
True.
So it's
True.
like, oh man, you know?
Yeah, even Bravo has them now. And that used to be like a 50-50.
Yep. I remember going into Pro Tour 2 last year, and like I thought Viserai into Bravo was like Viserai favored when I was testing it, but it was just like, and like the OG Prism versus Viserai matchup was really interesting, but now without Rosetta Thorn and like a lot of the tools that he had, it's just like,
everyone's gaining tools, he's losing them.
Yeah, he lost tools and everybody gained tools, and it's just kind of sad to see. So unfortunate.
Yeah.
So going back to the newer characters here, we got a max deck that top aided the calling here. It's had some pretty interesting games that you watched, and it was playing like the Mechanoid as well, and he was playing like the hyper top that was just like blocking for one, but he was making it so that you could definitely play that and block with it and do more of a value game engine, which was pretty interesting as well.
Definitely.
Do I know where this is gonna land? Not really. What are your opinions on it?
He's the wild card. He's 100% the wild card. It was Dash.io before this. Now it's definitely Max. Like, we've seen success, so we know he's out there. He's relevant. It's just a matter of how relevant. You know, was the pilot just that good to make top 8, or did people not know how to play against him, or like, is he a real deal? I kind of think he's more of a real deal, but he, oh man, I don't know. Yeah, probably I'd be fine with there. Yeah.
I don't know if he's better than Bravo or worse than
I don't
Bravo
know either.
I think the safe pick is putting him here.
I think he's somewhere in B2. He could be at the very end for all I know, but like he's somewhere in there.
I think he's better than these characters just because of the power of
for
like Mac, right? But I don't know. This one's pretty interesting. This guy's pretty interesting to me. I
like that he's seen success.
Yeah, like you've seen a little bit of success from him, but I would need a lot more exploration from him, and I think he's going to get outshadowed from that exploration from the Dash.io and the OG Dash players, because like you really need to convince somebody to play this deck outside of like these two currently, right? I don't think he's bad, but I also...
It's easy convinced. You just say construct Nitro Mechanoid, and then oh yeah, that's a cool card.
That is a cool card. It is a cool card.
That's the way to convince them. Like those other two aren't doing that.
That's true. But yeah, I think I'd put him around here. That's what I'm saying. And then
I'm cool with that.
Teklovossen.
All right, lead the way here, Peter.
I still really like this character.
Okay.
I still think it's really good. I have played a decent amount more games with him. I do think that if you're playing, his matchups are very polarizing. And I think until Dromai and Icelander leave, I don't think we're going to see basically anything from him. And that's just because like these matchups are pretty difficult. Dash.io, I actually think you can fatigue her because a lot of the versions are playing a non-boost like kind of like defensive style these days, which like obviously you can't beat these for, but you're pretty good at fatiguing people, which obviously that works out pretty well. So I'd probably put him probably around like, I think he's slightly better than Dory, but I'd probably put him around here until he just needs the meta to shake up. This is like not the meta to where like a fatigue deck like him really works out, right? Like there's some good things of his meta where like the ninjas aren't there because ninjas are really good against fatigue, and like Teklovossen struggles into the ninjas. But the fact that like you still have like two of the worst matchups like in the game for him at the top is just like not well, bro. So I'd probably say he needs maybe the next meta or just the Dromai Icelander to rotate for him to be like super into it, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I don't trust him as far as I can throw him, and he looks pretty heavy. So I would say he's more in C tier, just because like you said, first off, I don't think anyone's found a list yet, or we haven't seen anything at the very least. Maybe at Worlds, who knows? But I just whether he's playing like kind of an aggro package or if he's playing super defensive, I just don't think he's in a good spot yet. And I think you're right. I think it does depend on who's in the best. And I think that's why he is at where he's at. But I don't know. I'd even trust like Arachne over him.
Yeah.
But
we'll say I was quite high on him, and I had a lot of builds going through. But I am currently bringing 7 decks with me to Worlds in my backpack, and he is not one of the 7. So
that's probably good.
I'll say that he's not one of the 7. But
do we have the 7 in SNA? Did we hit those 7 there?
They're in SA and B. I'll say
okay.
that.
Okay. All right. Which? Just tell us which one isn't in your 7 out in the SNA. Oh,
I'm not.
You got a Rhinar deck over the Azelia deck?
Yeah,
crazy.
I just don't think Azelia is like. I personally, it's not my gameplay. It's not my style. I also just think like I think this deck is good, but I only put it in like here specifically because I know people are gonna bring it, even though you probably shouldn't. I don't think the meta percentage is gonna be really high, but this deck can really get there. But I don't know.
It's a good spot.
I think it's a fine spot. I think these 4 are like super far ahead most of the other meta versus like everything else. Like I'd probably say if I could bet like these 4 characters, like maybe Bravo, because I know people are gonna bring Bravo no matter if it's good or bad, right? I'd probably say if you could put these 5 characters to being like 60% of the meta. And then,
I think that's fair.
And then you would trickle every like all of these that are like sub 10 people playing it, right? I'd probably say Azelia has the closest chance of being like 15 to 20 people out of like these, and then I would think Bravo. If I'm thinking like popularity, right? I think it's these 4, then Bravo at 5, and then Azelia, and then a mixture of everything else, right?
Sure.
And I think it would take a dedicated team that's like of like 6 to 8 people that are all playing Azelia at this event for it to like really break into like top 5 popularity, you know?
Gotcha. So, all right, Peter, I got something for you here.
Okay.
As we are both content creators, we know that at this point, the people that are watching have already seen their favorite parts and have clicked off the video. So can we reward the people that are still listening? And what deck is the closest deck that you are thinking of playing?
The closest deck I'm thinking, I think this one is like pretty easy for like a lot of people to tell. It is going to be, I think the highest potential of me playing at Worlds currently is Icelander. I'd say that. I think that's the highest potential. But there's some spicy decks that I have in my bag currently that if some people can convince me not to play, don't convince me not to play, I might be playing it. So cool. I would say Icelander has the highest probability of me playing at Worlds, but I think there's some tough cases for me to play other decks currently. So yeah.
Cool. I'd play it too. I think Icelander is great. I think that's a good choice.
Mm-hmm. All right. Thank you for joining me today, Eric. Recording this other tier list video. Let's hope we don't get flamed in the comments. But yeah, thank you for joining us today. That's gonna be it, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks, guys.
Keep on fabbing.